chat. If you wanna come get it, then come for it. I'm so clean, my kick's nice, I'm Chuck Norris. Minute made the beat bounce, had to jump on it. Run for it, run, Gump Forrest Gump like hollow pumps, you gotta jump. No trouble, no double, I got a stun. You don't have to look up at the stars. Make one wish, you're looking at a star. Swag so fresh, you can put it in the jar. And the way I change gear, you can put me in the car. I remember when me and Seif used to sneak in every concert door. Now I got my feet in. Every day is Get Friday, no weekend.
Welcome back to your favorite live YouTube sports show, not named JT and the Dawn or the Final Whistle. It is indeed #this just in, and we all know what we're about. And the fact that you're always here, y'all know Adam, y'all know the other half of JT and the Dawn, and y'all know Blaine for the Final Whistle. So we need no more introductions. Let's get right into it. Because we know that this is Wildcard Weekend, and these weren't exactly a part of it. Wildcard Weekend. Playoffs are upon us after the Packers allowed the Seahawks to get that 7th and final spot in the NFC. Adam, though, no first seeds. That means there's no Chiefs, no Eagles. So of Wildcard Weekend, what is the matchup that intrigues you most? What is the best matchup for you this weekend?
Love starting the show off this way, man, and always great to be here, of course. Man, there's so many matchups we could have picked from, right? But when I look at one on the schedule, it's got to be Chargers and Jaguars, right? You got Justin Herbert, you got T-Law, Trevor Lawrence, of course, and I feel like this could be a possible rivalry that could actually be starting here. With this matchup, you look at the Chargers, it's a super loaded team on paper. We clearly saw the offseason that they had. Of course, we know acquisitions. We don't have to go back through that, but it's an immense amount of talent. And it's like we've been waiting for these guys to arrive to get to the moment, right? Here they are, 10-win record. You're wondering if Brandon Staley is really the solution, which I believed in him. Just took a little bit of health, time, and overall continuity with the team to get there, right? You look at the Jaguars. This team is playing with absolute house money and way, way, way ahead of schedule, as we all know. People saw the demise of this franchise over years. And then, of course, you'd have the absolutely horrendous Urban Meyer tenure, which was horrible. I mean, the guy didn't even last through the season, so no reason to dig back through that. Then you get the right coach in Doug Peterson, and he really turns his team around. Ends them on a 5-game winning streak, storming back from 5-8 with Trevor Lawrence, of course. And let's not forget that back in week 3, the Jaguars crushed the Chargers, 38-10 on the road. Trevor Lawrence threw 3 touchdowns on a day where the Jags put up over 400 yards of offense. So, question is, will the Chargers who are way overdue for the postseason, really be able to fight off the last team that they want to see, in my opinion, which is the Jaguars. This team is hot. Again, playing with house money. Trevor Lawrence, I don't know if he's arrived yet, but the leap has been great. So this is definitely the Wildcard Weekend matchup that I'm looking forward to.
I wanted to ask Jimmy next, right? But because of this outfit, I kind of almost figure where he's going with this. So, Blaine, the wildcard matchup that you want to see most this weekend?
I think Adam took the one that I think most people would say people are intrigued by, which is Chargers and Jaguars. But for me, I'm actually going to say it's the Ravens, Bengals, but for a different reason that many would argue, which is that you have the potential return of Lamar Jackson. How is that knee going to actually hold up, right? Is one hit just going to rejar and put him right back to square one, and then you got Tyler Huntley back out there again? Or are you going to get an interesting opportunity with two teams that just played each other last week, back in Cincinnati again this week? You know Cincinnati can score with the best of them. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon. The list goes on with them on the offensive side of the ball. Can Baltimore limit them offensively and then dictate time possession? Because that's the only way I think Baltimore is going to win this game. They have to control the ball. You got to be able to get Dobbins going, got to be able to get Lamar going. It's all going to ride on Lamar Jackson. And this is his contract game, right? Everyone's been asking. He hasn't played now for the last 4 or 5 games. So now Baltimore is back in the same situation that they were last year. He didn't play all of the games that they wanted him to. This is his money time. Go get your bag. This is your moment. You get this game, You beat your arch rival. You move on to the next round. Get it done. Baltimore and Cincinnati. That's why I'm intrigued by that matchup.
I know JT's telling me that Lamar Jackson's already got his bag, and I agree with that. I do believe he's already got his bag, regardless of what happens. And as much as I was joking that JT's going to pick Bills and Dolphins, I kind of feel as a Lamar Jackson fan, he's going to go Baltimore and Cincinnati, right?
Well, I mean, you got to know I'm dressed out in all this gear. It's got to be a red herring, right? Like, nah. Like, honestly, you guys are on the show, my boys Blaine and Justin, so I don't got to say anything about the Jaguars game. I don't even got to watch it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I expect this from them. Actually, I'm not even interested in any of the AFC matchups. Really, it's the NFC, because any of those games can go either way. Like, none of those teams are safe. But if I got to pick one, like, it's the elephant in the room. I want to watch this because it's history. There's epic meltdown potential. It's the Cowboys versus the Bucs. Like, you could not script this any better. Like, the Dak is ass comments, like, I feel like have taken over the media. Like, he's been up and down. He just played his worst game of the season in the game where they should have won. And you got Tom Brady, fresh off divorce. He don't want to be around them kids. They in the worst division in football, and they still found a way to get into the playoffs. So it's like any one of these teams could either be a disaster or they could be in the Super Bowl representing the NFC. So my eyes is on this game because I want to see, is it going to be Tom Brady, you know, having his New York Giants wild card moment where he just takes a crappy team and rises to the Super Bowl? Or is that going to be like, I'm a franchise quarterback and take the Cowboys to the Super Bowl? Like this game is so interesting to me. Like, I actually want to go bet on it. Like, I don't know what the line is, but I want to go bet on it. Like, this the game I'm watching out of everyone that's on is going to be on this weekend.
So what direction are you going with this though? If you're going to bet on it, JD,
I'm gonna bet on Tom Brady.
Yeah, right.
Hey, look. Hey, look. That man. They say like hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. What's that say about a divorced man who don't want to go home, man? Like he like, look, man, I chose to be here. Y'all better act right and win. Yeah. So I just can't bet against Tom Brady. That is the quickest way to lose money in Vegas. So I'm probably gonna go with the Bucs.
I'll let y'all, my fans, update y'all on JD's bet and tell y'all how it goes when I find out which way it actually goes. I typically like division rematches, right? And I'm salivating at that Bengals Ravens rematch, right? Third time around, and we're getting back, hopefully, Lamar Jackson. But like Adam said, something's afoot about this Chargers-Jacksonville matchup, right? And I know JD's telling me never bet on LA, and I refuse to because everything is telling me Jacksonville in this game, right? Brandon Staley's back. Let's put that out there, right? And this is his first playoff game as a head coach. You're going on the road where I think the Chargers this season are 5-4. I mean, not like it matters because when they're playing SoFi, they're on the road anyway because they don't have fans. Regardless, then, you know, this team is absolutely putrid against the run. And it's not to say that Jacksonville is this great run machine, but Doug Peterson is committed to running the football. Doug Peterson is a seasoned Super Bowl winning head coach. Of the quarterbacks playing in tournament, I think Trevor Lawrence has been one of the hottest in the second half of this year. And like Adam said, not only did Jacksonville beat LA on the road early in the season, they smoked them by 4 touchdowns. Not 1 or 2 or 3 scores, 4 touchdowns. They smoked the Chargers. Granted, I think that game was without Keenan Allen, and they were banged up all over the place, but everything is pointing towards a Jacksonville Jaguars victory. And again, I'm going to give Jimmy his flowers. He was the first person to come on the show and tell me that the worst to first this season would be the Jacksonville Jaguars. I scoffed at him, and what the hell do I know about football? Taking Jacksonville by a field goal. But that's not exactly a upset, is it? Because they're the home team in that matchup. Blaine, there are a number of top 3 seeds that are upset alert or on upset alert. Which one do you think should be highest on upset alert?
Top 3 seeds. Wow. So are we just talking about in general, or are we talking about the 2-3s that are playing this weekend?
No, 1, 2, and 3. The top 3 seeds. I leave out 4 and 5s I leave out 4 seeds for obvious reasons because that's usually the division winner I squeeze in. But 1, 2, or 3. Which of these top 3 seeds, 2 and 3, because 1 is not playing this weekend. Between the 2 and 3 seeds, who do you have most on upset alert, Blade?
Minnesota, the Minnesota Vikings. Why? Is it probably because I have a personal dilemma against Kirk Cousins, 110%? But I think you also have to remember that New York played them to a 3-point game. It took a long field goal by Greg Joseph as time expired just for Minnesota to sneak out a win there. The biggest thing with the Vikings this year is that they've won the close games that they couldn't win a year ago, right? Nothing's really changed in offensively or defensively, statistically speaking. It's very similar numbers to last year. Other than Justin Jefferson's been an absolute monster. He's taken his game to new heights. But as for the Vikings, been eerily similar to a team from a year ago. Then you have a Giants team. They're going to it's going to run the ball. They're going to ride Saquon Barkley. They're going to ride Daniel Jones's legs. And you have a creative play caller in Brian Daboll. I think that's going to be the difference of the game. Who's going to be the coach that in game crunch time situations is going to be the difference? And I'm taking Brian Daboll over Kevin O'Connell right now because Kevin O'Connell may have won a Super Bowl, but that was Sean McVay's team. Kevin O'Connell was the man behind the scenes. So I'm going to lean Minnesota on severe upset alert this weekend.
Adam, it has to be Minnesota, right? Like, we're going to make this a Minnesota.
Man, so I'm going to preface my answer, and y'all are going to know immediately what I'm saying. I was really hoping Germ was on the show tonight because this last month or so with these Buffalo Bills, man, it's a gut intuition, right? Like, sports just does this to you, and Buffalo's a great team, right? Don't get me wrong. They're solid, no doubt. 7-game win streak. Obviously, Josh Allen's played great, but speaking of Josh, you looked at he has 5 games this year with 2 interceptions, and that just kind of makes me nervous because he seems to be getting a little flinchy in the pocket at times, making some of these erratic throws and bad plays. And I'm not necessarily downing on Josh, and I will give credit to the whole team, Josh included, because they got the run game down pat. I want to say they were 4th in the league with about 140 rush yards a game. So that's great to see, especially in your November, December, January football compared to the last 2 or 3 seasons that we've seen with these Buffalo Bills. And you take a look at, they did split their season games with the Dolphins, each team winning at home, but it's also very noteworthy that both of these games were decided by 3 points or less. I'm not saying Buffalo's necessarily going to lose to Miami because clearly, we don't know about Tua. We don't know about Teddy, and obviously who is Skylar Thompson in a playoff game. Like, let's be real, Josh Allen's probably going to have so much fun with that, or just the Bills and Sean McDermott in general. But I don't know. I hate to sound so, I guess, kind of info-less in a way, but intuition for the last 4 to 6 weeks with me about Buffalo to where just sometimes these teams, man, they get this kind of vibe around them, and it's like, can they really go far, or do they kind of have that stink about them that we can figure them out? Yes, they won 13 games. We can figure them out. We could possibly knock them down and out of the playoffs. And again, I hate to say it so much, and I'm sure everyone's going to come forward in the comments and Jeremy when he sees it, but I 100% have the Buffalo Bills on upset alert. So sorry, but it is what it is.
Don't worry, Adam. What I will do for you, if Jerm is not in the comments, I will clip this and put this on Instagram and tag Jerm just to make sure that he sees this. JT, you got to be good.
Well,
with the
I already see Justin's on the instigator tip already. 2023 has only been 9 days, man. You calm down. I'm not gonna lie, Adam. Like, that rabbit's foot you got over there is on the right path. Now I'm gonna answer this question the way I took it when you sent it to me. Like, top 3 is top 3, whether they're playing this weekend or not, right? So I'm gonna go against something that I said was gonna happen at the beginning of the season, and I'm gonna go with the team that should be on upset alert is the team that I picked to win the Super Bowl, and it's the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. In a very unfortunate situation with Damar Hamlin, has somehow turned this into basically those games are going to be played at a neutral site, if I'm correct, right? Because everybody went out. And if it comes down to an AFC title game, it's going to be on a neutral site. Well, guess
only
what?
If the Chiefs play the
Chiefs
Bills.
and Bills match up, right?
Yeah. Which I think is going to happen. I think that's what everybody thinks is going to happen, right? The Chiefs and the Bills are going to make the AFC Championship game. I'm answering this with that as my answer. But if it's in SoFi and it's a neutral site game, that's a big disadvantage for the Chiefs because the big allure in all the playoff games is, can you go to Arrowhead and beat Mahomes, and can you beat Andy Reid in January? And obviously a lot of teams have not been able to do that, not named the Bengals. So I think that's a big advantage for the Bills because, one, they suck outdoors in the winter. They need a dome, and now they have one in the playoffs, and they don't have to go to Arrowhead. So I think that's a big advantage for the 2 seed, and that's a major downgrade for the Kansas City Chiefs to not actually have a home game in an AFC Championship game. So mine is a little bit down the road, but I'm telling you right now, if it works out where it's the Bills versus the Chiefs at SoFi for the AFC Championship game, the Chiefs are the team that needs to be on upset alert.
And just a quick reminder for those who don't know, outside of the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes has never played a playoff game on the road. Not one.
That's a major advantage.
Yep. I'm going to go with Blaine on this one for me. I say the Minnesota Vikings. Everything is pointed to you getting knocked out in the first round. You played this opponent close in a 3-point game at home, not on the road, at home. You needed every last bit of Greg Joseph's leg to win this game. And on top of that, this is a team that has 13 wins, but guys, did you know their net plus-minus rating is actually -3? They have allowed more points than they have scored despite winning 13 games. Could you imagine that? To put that in perspective, the Detroit Lions have a better plus-minus than the Minnesota Vikings. And one team is in the playoffs and the other is not. And, yes, there's something to be said about Minnesota finding a way to win these games. I think they have a record 11-0 in one-score games a season. That's crazy. So clearly whenever it comes down to it, they've found ways to win. But the law of averages come and tell me eventually you're going to be on the wrong side of this. You can't continue to win all of these one-score games, especially in playoffs where the competition is going to get better. I mean, I'm not a fan of the New York Giants. I think Brian Daboll is doing one hell of a job masking the inefficiencies and the lack of playmakers up there. But at some point, even if they get past Minnesota, none of us expect them to beat, if they get past New York, absolutely none of us expect them to beat San Francisco playing this kind of football. Hold on.
Man, y'all really hate number 8, man. Because I feel like all the stats you just named, you just rattled off, right? All this success in close games. If the quarterback was number 12 playing for the Vikings, you'd be like, oh yeah, I'm not worried about them because they could win close games. That matters in the playoffs. Y'all just say y'all don't like Kirk Cousins. I don't like Kirk Cousins is going to turn back into a pumpkin.
I will admit that
nothing to do with the Vikings. It's one man that's making y'all say that.
No, because as I said at the top,
I have a vendetta. That's fine.
I see. At least my man is honest. Justin, I know you want to give me all the NBA insider analytics plus minus. You just basically saying you don't trust Kirk Cousins and you don't think this charade could continue.
I don't trust. No, let me say this quick. I have nothing against Kirk Cousins. I don't trust the rookie head coach. But B, and most importantly, right, when it gets cold, granted, Minnesota is going to be playing a dome, so it won't be matter for the first 2 rounds. The one thing you want to be able to do this time of year, and this is why I give Buffalo credit, you want to be able to run the football. The one thing Minnesota has not been able to do this season, despite having Dalvin Cook, is run the football with any success. And we saw what my Packers did. They decided, let's take Justin Jefferson out of this game. And pardon me?
It was a fluke.
It was a fluke, right? But everyone doesn't have Jair Alexander, obviously. But again, the Green Bay Packers said, okay, we're going to take Justin Jefferson out of this game and dare you to beat us on the ground in other ways. The Minnesota Vikings couldn't do it. And I'm seeing Green Bay Packers, as you've continually told me, don't have a great defense. Well, they're going to be playing good defenses going on, and I have to believe the Giants are a better defense than we are. San Francisco 49ers are a better defense than we are. and the Philadelphia Eagles are better. Even the Dallas Cowboys are better defense than we are.
Hey,
So,
man, they just went into Buffalo and beat the Bills, right? Like the one team everybody on this panel except for Adam feels safe about, right? Like the Bills are like everybody still thinks they're a Super Bowl favorite. The Vikings beat them on the road in Buffalo. Like I think y'all not giving them enough credit. I don't think they're as good as people think they are, but to say like, all right, I don't trust them on the road. I mean, bro, they're winning a lot of games for a reason. I have a little bit more faith in them.
But I know there's a number 8 that you do have a faith in, Jimmy, and I purposely brought you on the show because I don't know a bigger Lamar Jackson supporter than you. Jimmy, with Lamar Jackson hopefully set to return for the wild card playoffs, does his presence give Baltimore a realistic shot at pulling off the upset over the third-seeded Cincinnati Bengals, who I think have rattled off 8 straight wins?
No, because it doesn't matter. Because that team is still bad. Like offense is bad. Like they have no line, they have no receivers not named Andrews. The coaching sucks, and the defense is worse. Like I don't like they've played okay as of late, but let's be honest, it's still a torturable defense. Like you got like Lamar is stepping back into like the Super Bowl Ravens, and it's like all right, cool. Like he's gonna come back in and it's gonna be business as usual. Like no, it's a setup, a trap. Like he's coming back to play in a bad situation against one of the hottest teams in the league, just for people to say, like, see, like, this is why you shouldn't give him the money. See, he can't win a playoff game. It's like Jesus couldn't win this playoff game with this team. Like this is bad. So that's why I didn't pick the game. Like, I don't even want to see it. Like, I feel bad for Lamar because I almost feel like he just sit out and be like, all right, cool. Like, I'm not playing again until y'all pay me, or I get around a team that has a lot of talent. Like, it's not going to matter, man. The Ravens are bad, man. You just watch them every week. It's a bad team. Doesn't matter who's behind quarterback right now.
Adam, do you disagree, or is Lamar Jackson just not enough to take them over Cincy? You're muted, Adam.
Good. Okay, no more rookie mistakes. Okay, so as far as the question goes with Lamar Jackson's return making a difference, I don't see how it couldn't. We've seen Tyler Huntley. The eye test shows you that he's clearly not as good or even close to as good as Lamar Jackson. And let's be real, Baltimore's 4-8 all time without Lamar Jackson since they drafted him as their quarterback. I know Lamar hasn't played in 6 weeks. Don't get me wrong about that. And we know, in my opinion, this team is much better with Lamar on the field. And like I said, the eye test shows us. I get it, Jimmy. Defense isn't fantastic. O-line isn't great. There's no one out there besides Andrews, named Andrews, that's going to actually, be a viable receiver. But let's not kid ourselves. I get Lamar's been hurt for the last 6 weeks, but are we really going to sit here and say that Tyler Huntley will look better on the field than Lamar Jackson against Cincinnati, which is the hottest team in the league? And again, Jimmy, I'll side with you. This is probably the last team they want to see. Maybe Lamar should sit out. Who knows what that's going to entail, right? They're a hot team either way. Why aren't you going to bring your best player in? Of course, if he's healthy, in order to execute this playoff. I'm going to say game. I'm not going to say win because I feel like it could go either way. Call me crazy. Playoffs are always erratic, right? I don't ever super bank on somebody to actually take one home, whether it's the Super Bowl or a win. But again, I'm not going to sit here and say that Lamar Jackson is not going to not make a difference when we've seen Tyler Huntley for the past month and a half, and it hasn't been pretty with him. Again, cast isn't great, but wouldn't you rather have a better quarterback, clearly, numbers, record-wise, electric-wise, creative-wise, than Tyler Huntley? I think I would.
Same thing, Glean. Can number 8 make a difference in his matchup, or does it really not matter?
Yeah, he can make a difference. He's the most dynamic player in football. That's got to mean something.
Thank you.
I mean, will it get them a W? I would probably lean no.
Yeah.
I mean, but we've also seen what we like Adam just said. We've seen how bad Tyler Huntley's looked. We've seen how awful, no offense to Anthony Brown. Anthony Brown, you looked like a deer in headlights this past weekend going against the Cincinnati Bengals. So, I mean, like I said, this is why I find this game intriguing, right?
Yeah.
Because of Lamar Jackson. There wouldn't be anything else if it was just the Cincinnati Bengals playing, but because you have somebody that can absolutely change a game by himself. And he's done that for this organization the last 3 years. Like Adam said, he's 4-8. The man's going to get his bag because without him, they look so awful that they don't even look like a competitive football team. So you have to give that opportunity for Lamar Jackson.
Sorry, Jimmy, I'm on this train, and I actually think the Ravens have a realistic chance to pull off the upset. And why is that? Because all of the pressure is on Cincinnati. You're playing at home. You are a season removed from reaching the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow has put himself in the spotlight, saying that the window is always open for his entire career. So,
bro, that was better than Geno Smith. They wrote me off. I ain't right back.
as I tell you, so you're putting all the pressure on yourself, and clearly you're seeing every year it is Super Bowl or bust. Like, Baltimore's coming in with house money. Lamar Jackson hasn't played in what? Six weeks. 6 weeks. He's coming out with a hurt knee.
Yep.
The only receiver I've known, as we've all said, is Mark Andrews.
Yep.
J.K. Dobbins has looked, like he's coming on late, but there is absolutely no expectation of the Baltimore Ravens to win this game. Like, every player flumped, like Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. Like, all of these good players, I feel like if you had to name the top 10 players in this matchup, 7 or 8 of them would be Cincinnati Bengal players. There is absolutely no pressure on the Baltimore Ravens coming on the road against a division rival. That is house money. And if I had money to put down the video saying that this is a sure bet, put my money on the Baltimore Ravens to pull off this massive upset.
Woo!
You know what though? You know so funny, man. Like I really appreciate all you guys. I really do, because like I love Lamar love. Like any love Lamar gets, that's joy to my ears, right?
Right.
But all of you better have this same energy when it comes time to him to get paid. Because right now, what y'all describing is he's the MVP of the league right now. No matter how trash the team is, as soon as he steps on the field, he has a chance. Like, y'all acting like
He's pumping air into my words, yo.
I got that energy already.
Yeah, you act like he's icebox. All the little giants need his icebox out there, and they shutting down anybody. Like, I love Lamar, but I'm optimistic, but I'm just not confident. This team is so bad. Like, their best receiver just got waived, and it was Deshaun Jackson. I don't know how old he is. He graduated high school before I did. Like, he's old.
Yeah.
Like, this is a bad look, man. Like, this Bengals team is nice, and I just don't think I think he makes it interesting, but it's just too much to overcome. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I just don't see where it's coming from.
Speaking of betting,
I'm not out here trying to say that he's like the MVP of the league, but I mean, just for the question of Lamar versus Tyler Huntley, like, I'll go out and say this: I'll take a 70% Lamar over 100% Tyler Huntley any day. I don't care if Lamar's running 30% of the time that he was compared before he got injured. Like, and like the guy said, he's electric. I'm not saying it's going to be. I'm not also saying that he's all be all, but if we're talking about a difference, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, for a fact, it's a difference. I mean, but let's be real. It's Tyler Huntley. I'd rather take the guy sweatshirt at quarterback over Tyler Huntley. So, yeah, I agree with you on that.
Talking about betting, Blaine, we have 2 4 seeds that have lower records as usual than the team that's coming in on the road, and that's the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Which of these 2 do you have more faith in to win this weekend?
I'm going to have to go with Jimmy's answer at the beginning of the show. Someone's got the GOAT and the other team doesn't. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I'm going to ride Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Whoa, time out. You can't let him answer that. What did you say about Tom Brady not even 2 months ago?
I'll tell you right now, I think Tom Brady's going to end up retiring after this year. I already made that very clear.
I want to give you credit because the shit you said was funny. I loved it, but you got to say what you said about Tom.
The arm talent's going. I think that's what I've said that on air. Jimmy can quote me. I was on his show. He has the clip. It's on social media. But I told you, like I said on your show, if there's somebody at the end of a game who has the ball last with under 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, I'm taking Tom Brady 150% of the time.
Yep.
I'll take him at 60. I'll take him at 25. I'll take him whenever. I know the arm's talent's not there anymore, but I'm still taking Tom Brady when it matters most.
Yeah.
I mean, so he's taking Tom Brady in the Tebow to go situations only. But
heck yeah, bro.
no, but the real talk. He did say he was done. Like, I thought that was hilarious because there's a chance they were playing so bad he might be, but it's like you see what it is. Like, it's the GOAT. Like if Brady's in the game, I'm like, oh, here it goes. Like, I can't bet against that.
Right.
So Jimmy, then you're going with Tom Brady clearly, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with more faith than the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's what you're saying.
Can I say equal amount? Because I mean, I gotta say
no.
I gotta say,
like, that's fair. Justin's like,
no.
Justin's like, this is my show. I don't know what y'all saying right now.
Oh,
Give me an answer.
So you want me to say I have more faith in Trevor Lawrence than Tom Brady? I'm gonna end up on every cold take website for life if I say that. No matter if they both win. You know that, right? That's a setup.
But you called out Blaine for, speaking out against Tom Brady.
Hey,
so
if Tom Brady plays another year, it's fine. I'll own to that. JT's got the receipts.
So for all the Tom Brady
not as bad as the Colts receipts, though.
Poor Don.
All the Tom Brady love you've given us here, JT, you have to go down the Tom Brady lane, right? Like,
So you're at the question is, who do I trust in their matchup board this weekend? Tom Brady or the Jags?
Tom Brady and the Buccaneers or the Jacksonville Jaguars? Who do you have faith in more?
Oh, I got more faith in the Jags. One, because it's a home game. Yeah. Two, it's a team they've already played, like y'all so eloquently laid out the stats of that ass whooping before. And then three, it's the Chargers. Like, this is like, there's not a more Chargers thing than to lose to the Jaguars twice in the same season. Like, you got your ass kicked at home one time, now you got to come all the way out east and get beat down early. Like, yes. Like, the Chargers are the Chargers. They got a terrible coach, a quarterback that I think is talented, but he got to show me something. And we're forgetting about the injuries. Like, Mike Williams is banged up again, right? Bosa's banged up again, right? Rashawn Slater ain't back yet, right? Like these are major injuries. Like, I just don't see how a team, when you're at full strength, they beat you up by 4 touchdowns. And it's like, I'm going back with less friends to help me with this fight, and they still got the full game with them. Like, I don't understand how it's supposed to be a W. So the most Chargers thing to do is lose twice, once on the East Coast and once on the West Coast. So, yeah, I have more faith in the Jags, but, I mean, I'm not going to discredit Tom Brady. I have a lot of faith in him, too.
No. Adam, Jaguars, Buccaneers, who do you have more faith to get out of this weekend?
Yeah, that's a great way to approach it, man. And Jimmy, I didn't even really think about like the matchups that they were going to be specific in. And I do agree, Jaguars and Chargers. Chargers with the injuries, it could be the most Charger thing to do. This is Trevor Lawrence's chance, right, to really shine. But and let's talk about just slightly the Tom Brady retirement. I was on the train that he was going to as well. But it's just so not Tom Brady-esque, in my opinion. I get it. He just faked us out for like 6 weeks in the offseason. But, knowing that he went through the divorce, knowing how Tampa's actually been, can he leave on a sour note like that? I just don't see Tom doing that. So I think he'll be back. I'm not going to say for X amount of years, but I think he plays again next year. Whether it's with Tampa or not, I don't know. But I think we'll see Tom Brady on the NFL field. And when it comes to who do I trust more, Trevor Lawrence is a second-year NFL quarterback. And he's played awesome this year. Don't get me wrong. We talked about the trajectory, how great he has looked. I feel like they do have it easier than Tom does have it with the Cowboys. But I'm going to go with the Bucs. I'm going to go with Brady. And I feel like this playoff game here, Tom Brady is going to put the bug back in everyone's head that he hasn't went anywhere when it comes to postseason time. Tom Brady's going to play well. I think he'll play effective. I'm not saying he's going to throw for 373 yards and 4 touchdowns. I'm not saying that. But Brady will make plays in this game. He'll make audibles at the line. He will carry this 8-9 team that won the god-awful NFC South. You're welcome, Brian, New Orleans Saints. And I think they'll get the win this weekend. I'm not saying that the Jags are going to lose, but as far as trust, I'm going to go with Tom Brady. I mean, like Blaine said, one team has the GOAT, one team doesn't. And have the Bucs look shaky? Absolutely. But it's going to be interesting for sure. But I'm rocking with the GOAT and the Bucs.
You can't discredit how shaky the Cowboys have looked these last month and a half, though, too.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And I just think Brady will outplay Dak. I'm just going to say that. 100%.
One team does
Battle
have,
250 passing yards. I got you.
but this GOAT has looked more like an Alpine GOAT than the GOAT as in the greatest of all time. Sorry, guys, I have to go with more faith with the Jaguars than these Buccaneers because, as you all said, granted, you are about to play a team you smoke by 4 touchdowns, and you're going to play them again. But this is not even about the Jaguars. Here, this Jimmy, you thought you were going to call. I'm going to rip the Bucs a new one. This is a bad football team. This is possibly the worst of the teams currently in the playoffs right now, including the New York Giants. So let's start.
I can't argue
This
with
team
that.
is
Worse than the Vikings?
even the Vikings on tape. There's nothing statistically to tell me this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team is good. I can no longer live on the fact that Tom Brady is the greatest. Yes, he is the greatest of all time. There's no argument about that. Beyond that, this is a bad football team. You can go ahead.
You talking about them like they're the Packers, man. I think you should have did the show tomorrow, man. 'Cause I feel like you still got trauma. Like everybody's not the Packers, man. They're just gonna self-destruct when stuff is easy. Like, man, you made it sound like you making it sound like Lamar Jackson is gonna have a bigger impact than Tom Brady, man. Like it's Tom Brady. Come on, let's give him credit.
Can you refute anything I said? Can they run block? No. Can they run the football?
It's like 3 teams trying to run block though. Like it's like we talked about before. You're like, oh, like this team is gonna struggle in the playoffs because they can't play run defense. Nobody don't want to play run defense.
Hold on. They can't run the football. What's the one way to slow down Dallas's pass rush? Everyone that has beaten Dallas so far, what have they done? They run the football.
I get you. But here's the thing. Like, if you want to be honest, Micah Parsons, like, he was looking like Lawrence Taylor halfway through the season, and I don't know what's going on with him. He might be hurt. People are figuring him out. Maybe they're running at him more. But, like, Micah Parsons and Diggs, to me, like, they have kind of tailed off. So I don't think this defense is as scary as people think they are on paper right now. Like, they got to show me that. And it's like, the Bucs are getting hot at the right time. Like, I know it's the Panthers, but Panthers got a good defense, and they always have been playing good this year. They just torched them boys for, like, I don't know how many yards Brady had. I don't know how many touchdowns Mike Evans had, but it was a lot. All I know is a lot of people won money that day. Like, they're on fire right now.
What's that?
All of Brady's touchdowns went to Mike that day. Pretty sure.
Yeah, like they're peaking at the right time. Like I was saying, like, this is like the New York Giants when they made the playoffs as a wild card and they went and beat the Patriots when they were undefeated. Like, you're just getting hot at the right time, man, and you playing the right opponents on the road. Like, Dak Prescott is the only chance they have of winning this game. Like, he got to play out of his mind. If not, then Brady will eat him up. Like, I have confidence in him.
So again, stop me if I'm wrong. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers can't run the football. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers cannot pass protect. Tampa Bay Buccaneers cannot stop the run. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers secondary is leaky at best. All these things are true, right? Correct?
Mm-hmm.
So then what evidence is there to see that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can win a game? Like, you can't
be Brady.
Cut that out.
You heard what the man said. He said Tom Brady. You got like Tom Brady hasn't played on teams
Chris
where
Godwin, Justin?
Those issues exist.
Who's going to cover Chris Godwin? Because Diggs is going to be on Mike Evans all day long. Chris Godwin's going to murder them in between the numbers.
He better get that ball up quickly because that pass rush is coming.
But you act like Tom Brady hasn't played on teams where they can't run the ball. The O-line is shaky and the talent is not that great. Like, this is what he does. Yeah, like, he makes ordinary things happen, like, great.
Usually defense is good, though. Not this year.
Yep, that I can say. Usually his defense and his offensive line always had his back. He never had, like, super elite, top of the league most of the time offensive line. But Brady's saving grace when his line is shaky is his pocket presence. He can just detect people from behind like nothing. I know he's not doing it as much, but to side with Justin, the defense and the O-line, that's always been Brady, right? Like, we see Brady gets pressured, any quarterback gets pressured. They're not good. Brady looks especially bad and clearly pissed when his O-line isn't performing. And he'll break more tablets over the defense side of that.
So who hasn't looked good or actually hasn't played in quite a while? So what time do they look? So, Adam, I feel like they should have worded this question differently because then they read out.
Yeah, because I'm just reading it. I'm like, he's about to ask this.
Like, because Tua may not even come back. So, like, I guess I'll answer two things. Is Tua even coming back? And if he does come back, can he bounce the Bills in the playoffs?
This has been such a wild topic this NFL season. Just with the way Tua's been and everything and having a couple of scares. I mean, 3 times now? We've even seen people on FS1 and ESPN saying, should Tua retire? With that being said, I'm not saying that Tua should retire, but to me, if I'm him, I get it. You want to get out there, you want to play this playoff game, this, that, and the third. But I've heard Tua in these interviews about how Mike McDaniel believed in him and compiled all of his best plays from the Dolphins and Alabama to basically hype him up. But realistically, I don't know if Tua should really take that risk and actually get back out on the field. So do I think Tua will come back? My gut tells me no. We're going to get that breaking news and, oh, man, everyone's going to be up in arms. Dolphins fans are going to be crying. Great, we're here. Now this happens. Clearly, we don't know about Teddy Bridgewater either. So are we going to ask Skylar Thompson to step in? I don't think any of us on this show or probably anyone watching actually believes that. I get it. They got Jalen Waddle. They got Tyreek Hill. They've got that entire team out there that has scored at will plenty of times this year. But I just personally think it is too risky at this point into his career, seeing how he actually gained the best traction out of his NFL career. And Mike McDaniel and him are gelling pretty well. That's probably one of my biggest surprises from this year. But gut tells me Tua's not coming back. He shouldn't come back anyways, and I'm not banking on Teddy B or Skylar Thompson to bounce the 13-3 Buffalo Bills. Absolutely not. And especially with the mojo that the Bills played with. I'm not saying, again, not going to go back on my take saying that the Bills aren't on upset alert in this postseason. But yeah, I don't think Miami's going to get it done. Love you, JT, but no, man.
Oh, trust me, JT doesn't believe so either. That's why I'm going to save him for last. Blaine, is Tua coming back? And if he does come back, do the Dolphins even have a shot?
I mean, if he comes back, they do have a shot because they've shown it this year now twice that they've given Buffalo a highly contested game, one where they actually got the job done and one where they lost in the fourth quarter, right? But you can't bring this guy back. You can't do it. This is something that the medical staff just needs to just shut it down, be like, hey, we really need to reevaluate how we can get you back onto the football field, because this isn't like some coincidence, right? This is now 3 instances this year. And I don't know if it's like a helmet problem or if it's just the way he's getting tackled, or there's just something there that's extremely fragile for him where it comes to his head and neck area, right? It's just become that point of a fragile component where you have to just take that extra step. And Tua will do everything in his power to try and get onto this football field this weekend. So if it gets down to his decision, he'll be out there. So this is all about the medical team saying, you want to be out on this field playing with your teammates and your brothers and being able to give yourself an opportunity to do something special. But we gotta make sure that you're okay and that you have a future after football, right? And that's what they have to really look at and try and reevaluate for Tua this offseason. Like Adam said, like Tua and Mike McDaniel have become a very solid pairing in the NFL. This is not like something that was glimmers of like things that we've seen this year. I mean, they started out hot, 1-3, lost 3, 1-5, lost 5. Like, there's too much inconsistency there to be able to also risk something like that, right? You know that the Miami will score points if Tua is out there on the football field. There's no doubt about that in my mind. But how much concern do you really want to take into that player's health, and especially with all of these injuries and the DeMar Hamlin stuff that took place last week? Like, you have to be on the side of caution.
Got to. And I think that should really be taken into consideration for Tua as well. Like, realizing how lucky DeMar actually was, I feel like, to get cleared and like return to Buffalo today before we started the show. Like,
right.
7 days ago, we were worried to death about this guy. And I think Tua's got a really golden opportunity right now, considering what he's been through. Like, I get it, first playoff game, you love what's happening, but think about your next 10, 12, 15 years in the NFL, man.
I saved this question for the Dolphins fan last. Is Tua coming back, and does it even matter?
Well, what's actually interesting. I'm gonna go back to something that Adam just brought up. How like
before you continue, JD, let me throw. I should have done this. Tua has not, as of today, Monday the 9th, Tua has still not been cleared for any football activity, but not like we know, or not like the Miami Dolphins medical team is really the best and cares anyway. Sorry, JT, need to put that in. Go right ahead.
No, you already know how I feel about the Dolphins medical staff, man. Like, if you even want to call it that. But no, like, Adam, you said something about Tua and McDaniel having this great relationship, and he's like showing them old videos and
that meant so much to me, bro. That was so great that story got out.
I agree with you. I think it's a great story. But Tua, if you're watching this show, don't let this man finesse you. All right, man. Don't let Mike McDaniel ruin your career.
Right.
What you need to do is you need to be at home like these boys. Go home. It is over for the season. It is over for the season. And I'm sorry. Like I'm a Dolphins fan. I want to win. I would love nothing better to beat the Bills in the playoffs. But this man's life is in the balance. Like you cheat. It's like some Final Destination stuff. You've cheated death 3 times this year, and it's like, why would you want to? First of all, why would you want to go out there? And also, why would you want to go out there and trust this staff? Like, they have mishandled this 3 times that we know of. Like, I don't understand how this doesn't get talked about more. Like, this is very much similar to the Trent Williams situation when he was in Washington, where like they messed up, and he's like, if I didn't catch this, I would be dead. And it's like, I refuse to play for them. I don't want them doing any of my medicals. Like, I am not playing another NFL game until you trade me. Like, this is on that same level. So, no, he should not come back. He should not be playing this year. Like, if they clear him, like, everybody needs to be fired. And I love Mike McDaniel. Got to go too, because there's no explanation to why he should be cleared. Like, anybody who has a medical degree that is working in the NFL and clears him, like, I want them investigated. Like, it's got to be gambling or something. Like, it makes no sense. So he should not come back. He should be at home like the Packers, especially when I bought this shirt in the offseason at Lambeau for 70% off. That's where he needs to be, traveling the world, buying jerseys. Now, let's say the Dolphins do the Dolphins thing and he gets cleared, right? Which I think is a strong, embarrassing possibility.
Yeah.
No, it won't matter. Like, I think it's just too much pressure on himself to come back and do all this stuff. I think, I gotta look like I'm healthy the whole entire time. I think his mind is gonna be so many different places other than where it should be, which is beating a juggernaut, which is the Bills. Like, I just don't see how mentally he can be in the game. And like, last time he was on the field, like, he looked horrible in the second half. And I just think it's not worth it, because I think the Bills are just going to be on some crazy run. Like, I think that DeMar Hamlin situation is like, it's gonna, in a sad but weird way, I think it's gonna energize them, and they're gonna do some things that we don't expect. And like, beating the Dolphins is not that hard, especially with a guy like Tua who's not playing that great as late, and he's also shouldn't be on the field in the first place. But him coming back is irrelevant, and he should not be there in the first place.
Well, I don't know how I follow that. Let's leave that alone, because that's a Dolphins fan, and there's nothing more you can add to that. But guys, who should not have been there in the first place? Cliff Kingsbury. And it has been a very, very, very weirdly silent Black Monday, because outside of Arizona, rid of Cliff Kingsbury, watching General Manager Steve Keim step down, the only firing of note has been the Texans and Lovie Smith, which we all knew was coming once they got that number 1 overall pick. Even before that, we all knew that this is just a bridge year. So, Bleen, are you surprised at the lack of activity on Black Monday, or what are your thoughts overall on the coaching carousel going forward?
Honestly, I wasn't overly surprised. A lot of this had writings on the wall already, right? We knew something about Lovie Smith, and you could tell that he was gone. That's a guy that doesn't – that guy was playing for his final game, like going for 2 and trying to win that game in every way imaginable to get his team out of the number 1 pick. Like that, he knew. He already knew before going into that week that he was going to be.
I called Lovie Smith getting fired at the end of the year before the season started when he got hired in the offseason. I was like, that's a piss poor hire.
They wanted Josh McCown. It's just one more placeholder until they could hire Josh McCown.
Right.
This is all. Yeah, exactly. It's just Houston exactly like how JT said. It's a placeholder of coaches until they get the guy that they truly want. And then as for Arizona, this has been on writings on the walls for the last 5-6 weeks too,
yep.
right? And the real issue with Arizona's case is that they've extended everybody and now they're cutting ties with everybody after one off season of all this, right? Everyone's got an extension through 2026, 2027, and now they're all stepping away. So this is for Arizona. This is just another domino to how they've looked so bad and mishandled everything these last year or so with the Kyler Murray stuff, with the contract, now Cliff Kingsbury getting canned after an extension, et cetera, et cetera. And like the real thing that we were looking for already happened, which was Nathaniel Hackett getting fired before the season even ended. So as it pertains to this season, I didn't think anybody else was going to truly get fired. So everything else kind of fell into place with the two teams that really took place of this Monday.
Same thing, Adam. And I mean, yeah, there were only 2 firings, but there are, I want to say 5 openings with a possible 6 to come, depending on what we hear from LA and Sean McVay. What are your thoughts on a very low-key Black Monday?
It definitely was a very low-key Black Monday indeed. And to piggyback off what Blaine said, Cliff Kingsbury has been on my head coaching hot seat for the last 2 seasons in a row. After the Cardinals started 7-0, season before, and then obviously finished really rough down the stretch, I knew that right there saved his time. I knew he was going to get another season. There's no way you don't do that. You had Kyler Murray and MVP talks and top quarterback conversations and all this. So I wasn't shocked by that. I was actually grateful for Kyler's career and I guess the franchise of Arizona, because I feel like this team does have some stuff in the tank to be able to go far, but it's not going to be with Cliff Kingsbury. And unfortunately, Kyler Murray's health has kind of become a question as well, but we've seen that in the last few seasons. Wasn't really surprised by Lovie Smith either. Like I said, I called him really losing the job in the first season. As soon as he got hired, it was a piss poor job to take. And we had the whole debate on Petty Sports and everything about just minors getting hired for, unfortunately not great positions or head coaching positions rather in the NFL. And that isn't a slight at anything. We've just seen that kind of pattern, over, these past few seasons. So Lovie Smith wasn't a shock. Now, I got to talk about my Saints at least once because I feel like they're relevant in this conversation. I was surprised genuinely that Dennis Allen is coming back for another year. He believes he's coming back. I know there's the rumors about Sean Payton and everything. And, if we don't get Sean Payton, of course I'm going to be sad, but we have to get some hefty draft capital out of him. If people are talking about Arizona possibly sending him over there, we know Sean Payton can be all over the league. But the fact that Dennis Allen, are they listening to the fan base? Are they trusting their eyes? Like the way Kamara was misused this year is absolutely insane. And I get it, the injuries, some of the coaching staff around him, like he's going to get a lot of forgiveness for that. And unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it, Pete Carmichael has looked awful this year. I'm not saying that he should have been fired, but if it would have happened, I would have been surprised, but not. Pete obviously was doing great things over the last 14 years for the New Orleans Saints. I firmly believe that was Drew and Sean's offense before it was Pete Carmichael's. Let's just keep it a buck, right? But I want to say with the Saints not really having any kind of, rumors or anything break around either Dennis Allen or Pete Carmichael coming back. I don't care that Dennis Allen went 8-9 this year, and I get the injuries and everything, but and I get it was a promotional, within promotion in the organization, but he wasn't good in Oakland at the time. So let's not kid ourselves. And I'm not saying my Saints are on the Super Bowl cusp and the window's going to open back up, but we damn sure ain't going nowhere with Dennis Allen being our head coach. So that was probably the only true shock to me, is just no real news out of Saints camp about, coaching changes. Of course, there's articles and there's stories, but give me some solid, concrete, Brady's about to own the Dolphins and have Sean Payton come over. Give me some type of news like that about this coaching staff. I'm fed up with it after 1 year. I truly am, but I could go forever. The Saints really did shock me, though, on this Black Monday.
Did you expect a coaching change in New Orleans, Jimmy, or has Black Monday gone exactly how you thought it would go?
Man, you throwing a lot of questions at me, man. Let me unpack them. Hold on. Hey, look, man. I feel like the Saints not saying anything is strategic. So I feel like they're like half trying to bring Peyton back and then half doing what you're saying, like what can we sell him for? So I feel like they're probably keeping it real close to the vest. Well, I mean, it was quiet.
I think we lost him.
Jimmy. Oh, no, Jimmy.
Oh, there you go.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
There he goes.
Yeah. Sorry, I was like everybody got fired during the season, so Black Monday was always going to be quiet.
Right.
Shout out to Lovie Smith though, because he went and begged for his job like he was actually going to get it, and then they told him no. He was like, "All right, screw you, I'm gonna go out here and mess y'all up of not getting the number one pick." So shout out to Lovie, you went out like a G. Cliff Kingsbury, the obvious one. Like I was on board with him not getting the job in the first place because I don't understand how you can suck in college with Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, we're going to hand you the franchise with the number one overall pick and just believe in you because you and Sean McVay use the same hair gel." Like I don't understand. Like
straight up, bro.
Like no, y'all remember that year? Yeah. Like, oh, if Sean McVay like had lunch with you, like you were the top NFL coaching candidate. It's like Cliff Kingsbury is trash. He was trash in college. Like he got fired at his last job. Like I don't understand that. But I will say there's two teams that surprised me. They didn't make it. They didn't make a move. One is the obvious one. It's Ron Rivera. Like I don't understand why he's still there. Like first of all, anybody that didn't know they could make the playoffs with 2 weeks left, you got to go. And you said it out loud. Like imagine how bad that is. Like this is Washington. They got a list of other things that we could just troll them for, and here you come with your dumbass comment, like trumping them. Like I don't get that. So he should be gone. Like the way he's handled the quarterbacks. You handed the job back to Carson Wentz just to make sure we did not make the playoffs, and he don't know what he's doing. Now, the second one I might get crap for, but I feel this way. I feel like I'm very, very shocked that we are not hearing anything about your boy, Matt LaFleur, getting fired.
Me too.
Like, this is
I've heard talks about that from Dusty throughout the season.
Mismanagement. Because here's the thing. It's not just this year, it's the body of work. Because first of all, I was not a fan of him getting that job in the first place because he's the reason that Derrick Henry wasn't Derrick Henry when we were with the Titans. So I don't understand how you mismanage that beast and then you get Aaron Rodgers and then you mismanage that and then somehow it's Aaron Rodgers' fault y'all not winning. So it's at a breaking point. Which one is it? Is Rodgers the reason you guys can't win anything or is it Matt LaFleur? Because everybody's telling me Rodgers is the GOAT. So I'm going to side with Rodgers because I've seen him do it. It's LaFleur. Like, I don't understand how he's not on the hot seat, how y'all were like, hey, look, this man has cost us everything. Like, he's cost us our quarterback sanity. He's cost us any weapons that we've had. It's like, he should be fired. Like, y'all lost to the Lions, who had nothing to play for at home. At home. He should be fired. Like, I was very shocked that his name was not brought up at all on Monday. Like, I would have left him, I met him in the locker room, gave him his release, and be like, sorry. Nice doing business with you. Like he should be fine.
So I did not hear with the intention of Packers rant, but Jimmy forced me into it. So put that camera on me, Neil. Was I surprised he was not on the chopping block? No, I'm not surprised because that's not how Green Bay does things. And unfortunately, or fortunately, he has the history of the last 3 seasons before him with 3 straight 13-win seasons. So you had to know he was going to be safe. But to Jimmy's point, this was not a good look for him this season at all. And after the game, guys tell me, but why am I so tough on coaching this, that, and next, and third? And I tell them, because we have been told or we've made to believe that sports is more difficult than they are. And 2 of the most important things about coaching, right, guys, is 1, you have to fit your coaching to the team that you have. And 2, you have to make sure to put your best players in the best position to succeed. So, Jimmy, you started this rant, and here I am now. At the start of this season, y'all know where I live. I got the opportunity to watch 2 training camps with the Green Bay Packers. The defense was dominating offense every single day. And it was quite clear and obvious what this team needed to do, even before watching training camp. And I'll go through your roster. First, who's not there? There's no Devontae Adams. There's no Marquez Valdez-Scantling. There's no Corey Linsley, who's an all-pro center. Your offensive coordinator is no longer there, Nathaniel Hackett. Your quarterback coach, Luke Getsy, is no longer there. Those are 5-6 key departures. Huge. When you look at this roster, then that should have told you it cannot be the same passing offense that it has been in years gone by. Then you ask yourself, okay, who are my best players? Your best skill position players are obviously Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. So that's the first thing that should told you that this should be a run-first offense. You were without Elton Jenkins early in the season. David Bakhtiari was trying to make his way back from years of injury. So that should again tell you it can't really be a pass-first offense because we can't block anyone one-on-one in the passing game. Then you look further. Aaron Rodgers is best target. Who's going to be on the field for most of the plays? Alan Lazard. What is his best trait? He's the best run-blocking wide receiver in the league, without a shadow of a doubt. That's what he does. He goes on the perimeter, he blocks. He's basically essentially another offensive lineman / another tight end. Then the target you finally unlock, Christian Watson. What's his best trait? His speed. How do you get a speed burner behind defenses, guys? Play action. You suck defenders in so this burner can get behind you. Everything I told you should have told LaFleur from the start of the season. This had to be a run-first offense. There's no Devontae Adams. There's no Marquez Valdes-Scantling. There's no Corey Linsley. Your two best offensive linemen are now coming back from injury. You don't have the offensive coordinator you did. You don't have the quarterback coach. You don't have the weapons. Your best skill position players are two running backs. Your other best skill position player is a run-blocking wide receiver. And your other best skill position player is a burner who succeeds off of play action. Everything told you this should be a run-first offense, and everything you do should be in run formations. It took till the 10th game against the Dallas Cowboys for Matt LaFleur to figure that all out. Even against the Detroit Lions, every single play, I called it before that happened. Every sack, every turnover, I said, oh shit. And you saw it last night. Every time the Packers went 5 wide, it was problems. Because whether it was Zach Tom or Josh Nijman, they could not one-on-one block Aiden Hutchinson on the right side. That was obvious. I don't know why you go into that. Then the red zone debacle. You know you want to run A.J. Dillon up the middle to score touchdowns, which you weren't doing. What do? Don't you go into a run first, a heavy formation, and even if the defense is on to you, then you play action over that? No. What did Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers do? They went out into shotgun and ran A.J. Dillon out of shotgun with absolutely no head of steam or any momentum. To Jimmy's point, it was almost like a level of incompetence I've never seen in Green Bay offensive history. I don't.
He was begging to get fired. Like that's why I don't understand why people weren't talking about it today. It's like he gave his audition tape to be fired, and the Packers should also know that sorry ass coaching is hereditary because his brother is trash too as an OC, so they know what they're getting into.
But like you said, anybody who has any connections to Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay have gotten jobs. Whether it is Arthur Smith, whether it is Zach Taylor, whether it is the same Robert Saleh and Mike LaFleur. Anyone with any connections to Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay, whether you talk to them, whether you're friends, whether you brush their hair, whether you go to country club and golf with them, all of them have gotten jobs. Matt LaFleur's offensive incompetence was just on record all season long. And I don't understand why someone like me who has never played down to football, has never coached down to football, can sit down in my couch and understand this team had to be a run-first offense, and he did not. Neil, I am so sorry for going on that. I did not expect a rant, but Jimmy forced it out of me.
Man, when the T-shirt came up on the camera, I was like, Justin can't hold back no more. I was like, once he hit it with the Lambo 70% off, I was like, he's going for the throat.
Oh, my God. Keeping it in the NFC North to wrap up because we know Lovie Smith found a way to screw Houston over that number 1 overall pick. Adam, Now the Chicago Bears have the number 1 overall pick, but the best player in the draft is projected to be Bryce Young. So what do the Chicago Bears do, considering they already have a franchise quarterback in camp?
Yes, sir. Love ending this show on this note here. I think there's only 2 options. The first obvious one is you trade down for a hefty amount of draft capital. This is a very, very talent-rich NFL draft, at least for the first round. The quarterbacks, the linemen, the defensive players. And it reminds you a lot of when you had Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Mac Jones, that just huge slew. And I said, when the Falcons pick Kyle Pitts at number 4, you know their phone was exploding. The Bears' phone is going to be ringing like crazy on draft night. There's a lot of talk about the Colts jumping up to grab Bryce Young. There's a lot of talks about teams looking to get that number 1 overall pick from Chicago, because if they don't trade it, I think you have to draft Will Anderson from Alabama, number 1 overall. And is he really worth a number 1 overall pick? Let's not forget, last year in the draft, Chicago went defense, defense, defense. What are you doing for Justin Fields? You now have the number 1 pick with 3 wins on the year. And again, we've seen some progress out of Justin Fields. So you either trade, it's so simple. You either trade down to get draft capital and give Justin Fields some help, or you take Will Anderson or who you think is the best player on the board at 1. But to me, it makes no other sense but to trade it. You want to keep Justin Fields. He's got all of the things that you want to be a potential franchise quarterback. You got to support him. You have to.
Do you agree? What did the Bears do with the number 1 overall pick?
Oh, yeah, it's easy. But you're not just trading down once. You're trading back twice in that first round.
Yeah.
You need picks,
Load it up, brother.
picks, and more picks, because even if you're just trading back, so let's just say hypothetically, right, it's the Colts, right? You're dropping from 1 to 4, if I'm not mistaken, I think, where Indy's at 4 or 5. You drop back again. You trade back to 10. You fall back there, and then you've accumulated so much first round capital, second round capital, and third round capital, because you're not thinking about this year, upcoming year, you're thinking about the following year as well, because then you give the opportunity for Justin Fields to have weapons, and what he really needs is offensive linemen, because nobody can protect for him. That's why he arguably had the rushing record if he decided to play those 2 other games, because he got hurt and they kind of took him out on some of these opportunities, right? So no, you're not trading down once, you're trading down twice. You got to accumulate as much draft capital as possible if you're the Chicago Bears.
And take TCU's Quentin Johnson, right?
Oh, heck yes, you're taking
stealing my thunder, man. Dang.
Go ahead, JD. Sorry for stealing. Go right ahead.
No. Hey, man, look, man, great minds think alike. Look, Chicago Bears GMs, I know y'all watching this show because this is the best show on tonight, right now. So y'all watching this, I'm going to tell y'all how to do this. Listen to my man Blaine, trade back multiple times, because Lovie Smith gave you an awesome gift. He put you ahead of the most quarterback-needy team in the league. Now, the bidding war starts for everybody who wants to jump to Texas. So you trade, and there are 4 to 5 quarterbacks that I feel are going to go in the top 10 picks. So, once the first one goes, it's domino
always
effect. Trade back as far as you can, and it's easy. You draft Quentin Johnston and Bijan Robinson and call it a day. Get Justin Fields, 2 best weapons on offense in the draft at a discounted rate. You got all your picks, and just go to work after that. Right. Easy. That's what they got to do.
That's right.
Y'all made it easy. Trade back, get Quentin Johnson, and some offensive lane help. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else to add other than that. Lovie Smith is a true Chicago Bears legend. Like
he really is
the true Chicago Bear. So, guys, as I mentioned, TCU, Georgia, because that's what's coming on next, and I won't even ask Adam because we know where Adam is going. Just quickly.
Oh man, I'm watching it right now, bro. I thought it came on at 8 something. It came on 7:30. 10-7 dogs.
Well, we know you're good. We know where is going with this. JT Blaine, TCU, Georgia, who you got quickly?
Dogs. I might get bad. Honestly, the dogs might blow them out tonight.
Ooh,
so I will say so far, Stetson had a 21-yard rushing touchdown. We've hit a field goal. We forced a turnover on TCU, but TCU came back and ran it in with their quarterback too. So it's 10-7. It's shaping up to be a good one after the first quarter.
Ooh, Like it. As soon as I put down here, that's where I'm going. JD, what you got?
I love Georgia. I think this should be them going with right-handed Tim Tebow. Dugan, my favorite player in college football, Quentin Johnston. I think TCU about to get it done.
Ooh.
Wow.
Well,
All
on
right,
that
a little
note,
contrarian.
on that note, JT, plug yourself. How can the folks find you and what you got coming up next?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. I really appreciate it. It's great working with all you guys. I always enjoy that. It's JT and the Don All Sports Podcast. You can find us wherever you listen to all your podcasts. Also follow us on social media, JT and the Don on IG, TikTok, Twitter, everywhere.
Same thing, Bleed.
Yeah, absolutely. You can catch not just me anymore. That's been a new change for 2023. I am now a duo. It's myself and my good friend Joseph Ciccoletti. JT really tried to get it out of me, the announcement on his show. So I gave him a little bit of a thing. But yeah, so now we're recording every Tuesday. Audio comes out within 24 hours, and then YouTube hopefully comes out within 24 hours after that. So usually everything's up on all platforms by no later than Thursday. So yeah, we do Tuesday nights now. So if you guys are always more than welcome to come on if you guys want to chat it up with us, because it just becomes a little bit more rowdy with more than two people. So the more the merrier. You can catch us on all platforms.
He didn't break the news on JT's show, but Adam is coming here tonight to break some news, hopefully.
Oh yeah. You already know, man. It's officially in the works. As I'm sure you guys can see, y'all know I'm formerly of What Off Season and Petty Sports as well. I got some Petty Sports gear back here, but yes, definitely in the works of relaunching an NFL inclusive podcast called the NFL with AJL. Definitely looking to go live twice a week. Looking to hit a Super Bowl episode on the Friday, 2 days before the Super Bowl. So got a lot of things in the works because they got the background set up. So yeah, super pumped for that. And of course, guys, I'm a real estate agent in Atlanta, Georgia. Buy and sell with AJL on all social media platforms. Even if you're not in Georgia, I know agents all over the country, and we are rocking business for 2023. So if you need end zones or you need equity in your home, AJL's your boy.
I don't think that means that Adam is not going to be here as a regular guest, because we had a deal. We struck a deal behind closed doors. His agent is easy to buy. He just gave us some macaroni pie, and he was like, that was it. So guys, if you want Adam and you want me, it's every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, right here on YouTube. We are not your typical podcast. We are, visual only. So it's YouTube, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. For short form content, you can indeed find us on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Facebook. Hashtag this just in. Please do not leave off the hashtag, because we're going to be taken to Max Kellerman, and we really don't want that. So for Adam, for Blaine, for JT, I am indeed Justin of hashtag this just in, going to watch college football, and I hope you do the same. I will see y'all guys next week.
Oh, you know it.
I know that after tonight, you don't have to look up at the stars. No.
Come take a look at my dream world.
Tonight, you don't have to look up at the stars.
Chat, if you wanna come get it, then come for it. I'm so clean, my kick's nice, I'm Chuck Norris. Minute made the beat bounce, had to jump on it. Run for it, run, Gump Forrest Gump like hollow pumps, you gotta jump. No trouble, no double, I got a stun. You don't have to look up at the stars. Make one wish, you're looking at a star. Swag so fresh, you can put it in the jar. And the way I change gear, you can put me in the car. I remember when me and Seif used to sneak in every